You're a talker. Listening to talkers makes me thirsty.
Minutes of Fame brought to you every week by Indoor Suns Record and the Liquor Portal. We'll be live on Indoor Suns Record's Facebook page every Monday night at 7 p.m. until 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each week, we will be interviewing and playing music from all of your favorite local original bands. At the end of the interview, there will be a 5-minute period where fans can ask questions to our guests in real time. So tune in every week to 15 Minutes of Fame, Monday night, 7 p.m. to learn about and interact live with band members from all genres of music. If your band is interested in interviewing on our show, please contact us on our Facebook page. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. My name is Javier Ramos. Welcome to Facebook Live. We are here with the Liquor Portal.
Yo.
With your host, Cody Musaf and Brian Fisher. Hey, what's up? So this week, really special treat. I've seen these guys on stage, and they're just absolutely amazing. We have GRYM in the house.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
That's right. So here you are, guys. Let's just go ahead and start with the introductions. Who are the members of the band?
Go ahead, Trek.
All right. Well, currently, in us two, I'm Trek.
Steve.
I play the drums. Oh,
Vocalist.
In the mic.
Fuck yeah, drums.
We got the Parker brothers.
Yeah, and we have the Parker brothers, which
Mikey
are Michael
and PJ.
They're guitarists. And then and we have
Our second vocalist, recently
right
joined us.
Brian Connor.
Brian Connor.
And
good guy.
And that's all we got right now.
So the two guitar players are actually brothers, you said, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I gotcha. So that's why I was seeing how the amps were very similar.
Yeah, they're like
very
mirrors
particular
of each
sound.
other.
Correct, right. And I thought it was really cool because those amps were like really badass. You know what I mean, they were just
they're really. Yeah.
It just has that unique sound that comes out of those amps.
Absolutely.
Those two are dialed in with one another. They're brothers. Like you said, they have a similar setup. And whether they want to admit it or not, they kind of feed off one another. And when they do that, they create some really nice sounds.
And they're using Live With. It comes with the package.
PJ Parker likes to play very loud.
Yeah. and that's okay. We
dig it.
It's good. It's good for you guys. So you know what? The music obviously has a very particular edge to it. What genre would you guys fit yourself as?
I would probably say something along the lines of like melodic thrash. Yeah. We definitely have a lot of roots in thrash, but there's a different flavor to it. Like something sort of along the lines of like old school thrash mixed with like some newer sounds, and so I would say probably like melodic thrash or death metal or something along those lines.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say exactly that. We I think as our sound develops, we like to definitely incorporate melody, but at the same time, everyone kind of has a desire to be heavy. We'll get to say feel it in your chest.
Yeah, and now listening to you guys' releases and stuff with Coming Down, you have something there that's quite unique within this release in itself, where you have that kind of melodic, where you have these kind of polyrhythms between clean sound and then going into this like hard, like really balls to the wall type of stuff. Is that kind of what you think might be the direction, or mixed?
That's a nice observation. First, I want to say thank you.
Yeah. Really, we don't tend to write towards anything specific. It's just kind of whatever happens.
Gotcha.
It's just like PJ and I, we're the main ones that kind of, we have this dynamic and we can just feed off of each other, and that's how most of the songs are created. And then sometimes we have Michael that comes along and he'll write something and we'll go off of that. But really, it's just like PJ will play something or I'll play something. We're like, that's cool. And,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's just kind of how that happens. And so a lot of the songs are different. That like it's not really to like anything specific. It's just like, okay, that's cool. That sounds really heavy, or we should go this way, or yeah. It's just kind of whatever.
That one really stuck. I'm just that one really stuck out in terms
yeah,
of
that's one of my personal favorites.
the writing capabilities.
Coming down, and I think there was someone involved with the band, and he played bass.
That was Drake.
Drake, yeah, he's a talented guy. He wrote a lot of the like the lyrics and added a component to the music that was, most of the songs are very kind of dark. GRYM is very literal in the sense that like it's all war and just really intense kind of driving music and kind of dark lyrics. But with Coming Down, like you said, it's a nice chance to show like how well Mikey and PJ can write in harmony, and then with him backing him up, and I think that's what's so the album that's recorded now is with the old vocalist, and we're working on doing it, re-recording it, but we're all still kind of agreeing on what we want to do and how we want to do it. And Coming Down is definitely one of those where we want to do a lot more in terms of that harmony and developing that.
Because I ever since we released the album back in it's almost been a year now, back in June, we've had some lineup changes and just some like tonality changes throughout the thing.
Gotcha.
Different vocals, or after we recorded the album, we got the angles, and those have a different sound.
Trying to incorporate 8-string, just a lot
and possibly clean vocals as well.
So there's a lot of experimentation.
Yeah,
and we didn't even play with a bassist, and I think they filled out the sound really nice, Mike and PJ.
Right.
But I think once we find that bass undertone, is going to add a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, the natural progression of what's happening in the music scene with a lot of this music, where you have elements coming in now of, you have a little melodicness, you have some djent being thrown in here and there, and then you have like the clean vocals that are making a comeback, but being layered with that really screaming type of sound. And that's really picking up a lot of steam. Do you guys see that for yourselves? 'Cause it seems like that's what you're kind of talking about.
Agreed.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, here's where I like what we got, because these guys they're old souls. They're young. I'm older than all of them by a mile.
It's the
But-
papa. You're the
most
papa in the
most
family.
of us are pretty young.
But I'm still the one that's like Meshuggah. I'm still the one that's like
fuck yeah.
Mudvayne. I'm
Fuck
like
yeah, fuck
Slipknot. And these guys are like Iron Maiden, Sabbath.
Slayer,
They're like, and
bunch of different influences.
And so they're
and it
pulling me
made
in that
everything.
direction. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a band called Death, but I started listening to them just because they were like, "You don't know Death?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You should be." Brian Connor was like, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man." So I looked them up, and then when I heard their sound, I was like, I see now why I should feel bad, because they have a sound kind of like what I envision GRYM could be, is just very, like he said, thrashy.
So it's like this culpable taste of this release that's out there right now, but it's going to be something more that's coming.
Absolutely.
So where this release right now is where right now?
What do you mean?
Where is it on the platforms?
Oh, it's basically on everything: Spotify, iTunes,
iTunes, yeah.
Google, Amazon, YouTube.
You can go to the Facebook page, GRYM. You can go to GRYM on Facebook. There's like one other band, but we're not that one. I don't know. We're the ones in Virginia making music. So you can see more what we're going for, what we're leaning towards in terms of our sound. And then definitely re-recording the music is something that we're thinking that we want to do in the future, but also just creating something that represents everybody.
Yeah.
That's new to the
Right,
whole
right.
thing and seeing what comes out of that.
So I think those influences are coming down the line. So everybody keep an eye out for this the developments. But definitely go to Spotify and really support these guys so you can get a taste of what's to come, which I feel is going to be even greater than what from what they're describing. Obviously, seems like.
We got
That is
some
the
stuff
case.
in store.
Always
Yeah,
progressing.
yeah.
Always progressing.
So where are you guys from anyway? I mean, you guys from Richmond or were you outside of Richmond?
He's from Richmond.
I am from Richmond, the
Oh,
South
okay.
Side.
Most
born
of
and
us
raised.
are from Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie.
A little county, a little bit south of Petersburg.
All right, so he
um,
can stay. You can't stay.
Did
Yeah,
you just say
so-
Petersburg?
When I'm on
Danger.
stage,
Danger.
we say Dinwiddie. We say Dinwiddie.
Yeah, Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie. He's correcting himself.
Yeah. No, south of Petersburg, Dinwiddie, and we're all the way south under that.
He's got the line. He's drawing the lines just to make sure.
Richmond, Petersburg, us.
Route
We're
660.
actually near Emporia.
I
We're
had
in
no
Stony
less
Creek.
Than 5 weird experiences in Petersburg. No
we're
less.
we're in Stony.
Always have a full tank of gas when traveling
Always.
through. Even
It's,
if you got to bag some in the trunk, like I've seen people do, just keep a spare bag of gas in
Yeah,
your trunk.
myself and the Parker brothers, we live out in Stony Creek, out in the sticks,
Okay.
and
I gotcha.
They
it's-
shoot guns and they play music, and they and Trek fixes stuff.
and no one cares because we're out in the country. I mean, we could play music all night, no one cares.
So how does
We
that-
do routinely.
How does that segue into how did there's a distance there? How did you guys form? Is there an interesting story to that, or how you guys came together?
Yeah, well, so the band kind of originated with PJ and I. We went to high school together. We kind of toyed around with a band back in high school. Didn't really come to fruition that much. He moved down to Stony Creek and he texted me. He goes, "Hey man, I'm trying to form a band again. You're a kick-ass drummer. I want you." And I was like, "All right, I'll make the thing down there." And before that, PJ was in a band with Steve here.
Yes. So I was aspiring to do something music related, whether it be singing or actually what it was in the beginning was just screaming at the top of my lungs. And I was like looking for people that might want a singer, and I showed up to a storage facility expecting to be murdered. And my brother came with me, and I
The
met up
Richmond
with these
experience.
guys. From
Yeah, the
band.
Richmond. Was that a Craigslist thing?
Yeah,
I
that
saw?
was.
I think I saw that one.
Was it was a little band called Forsaken Rage, and we actually did a show with these guys, and they were doing their thing, so we got together, and we jammed, and they, I don't know how I guess one of the guys got a hold of PJ, and PJ came out, and he could obviously, slay on the guitar. He blew those guys away, and we hung out in that storage unit, and we tried to make some music, and then we all kind of went our separate ways. And I was like, that was fun. I'd like to continue to try to make sounds. And then that's when I found these guys.
Yeah, and then eventually, we went through some lineup changes. Our vocalist had to pursue life, life and kids and all that kind of stuff. And we're like, man, we need a vocalist.
And I was like, no,
And
I'll
then-
have none of that.
Yeah,
We
and
will
then,
scream in a
there's
hot
the-
garage all
adulting in
summer.
here.
I think,
No adulting.
all summer
Your
long.
life.
I think we
Every
put like
day.
on like a ad on Craigslist or something, and Steve responded to it, and then Steve was like,
Where
"Yo,
y'all at?
is-
In the
is-
middle
like,
of
is
nowhere.
that
I
the
was like,
band
I'm
with
coming
PJ?"
out.
And then is like, "Is that the band with PJ?" And we're like, "Yeah." And PJ was like,
No, they
"Is that
weren't like,
Steve?"
yeah, they were like, who is this? And I was like, don't worry about it.
So then Steve came out, and now he's stuck with us for like 9 months now or so.
I gotcha.
It feels like so much longer.
So you guys have been just performing with this new lineup now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first time we did it with
Okay.
2 vocalists. We had some shows before that in Fredericksburg at the Recreation Center.
Yeah.
Big shout out to those guys. Casey's,
Another round.
And another round. All these venues that have
ARPG,
been putting
get
on
better,
shows
Bob.
consistently.
So what's going on with the now we have the music obviously, now the direct influences for you, how is that coming out in your music? What have you been listening to?
Oh man, myself, I listen to a little bit of everything, and I'm influenced by a little
He
bit of
really
everything.
does.
I would say directly metal based. It'd be something along the lines of like Lamb of God, Ne Obliviscaris. They're like a tech death melodic band from Australia with
Gotcha.
violins and stuff. They're really cool.
He always listens to stuff that I've never heard of. I have to look up.
Yeah, and like jazz. I'm a big fan of like jazz and fusion.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
all of that, like everything I listen to is somehow incorporated into like my playing style. Like I listen to a little bit of JJ Speaks, and I'm
Gotcha.
like, man, those guys are really cool. Like a little bit of like fusionist kind of stuff. And like so I started adding in a little bit of that, or like Wolf Legion we played with Friday and or
Wolf Legion.
Friday ago, Free Metal Friday.
Yeah, gee, those guys are
Those guys
Path
are
to
calling
Exile.
shit.
Rippers, man.
and
Oh my
the-
God.
The drummer John,
beheading the witch.
and
That was awesome.
yeah, the drummer John and myself, we kind of nerd out every time we see each other because we're like, man, you're really good. No, you're really good. And so like they're like really thrash, like backbeats and like
Yeah,
Slayer-esque
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of stuff. And
It's like one of those
I'm trying to
Freaky
do more of
Friday
that,
situations.
and yeah, so a little bit of everything for me. What about Steve over here?
Yeah, what do you got?
Don't
What's
know
on your
about me.
playlist?
Man, right now I've been wearing out. I'll probably say it wrong. Gojira, their new one.
Oh my God, that new one is pretty badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really my introduction to them, and I really dig it, especially the Storm and the Trails. Those last two tracks, I've just been wearing those things out and hearing something new every time. For me, I was a new metal. I listened to a lot of hip hop, and I loved it, especially like Bone Thugs and Harmony and the way that they did their cadences and how fast they were with their lyrics. From there, like Bush, and so like just a lot of melody based stuff back in the
gotcha.
90s that I really dug, like Sublime.
Yeah.
And I really dug that, and I didn't really move into the heavier stuff till I got into the military, and that's when somebody introduced me to Mudvayne and Chad Gray. Like, oh my God, the way that he screams, and then the way that he does his melodies with that band is incredible. From there, I moved on to Slipknot, and I just kept getting heavier. Like, and then one day it was the Demons' Name is Surveillance played on like a satellite radio channel, and I was like just blown back. I couldn't drive till I finished listening to it, and I just started taking in all their stuff. So I really love.
That's cool, and I see those influences in some of the stuff you're doing.
I love
now,
the way he screams.
where you're doing some melodic stuff, and then you go straight into the heavier stuff. So I can see that influence of all the stuff that you described, for sure. So what's next for GRYM? Where can people go see you guys?
Well, right now we have the Thrash and Splash.
Yeah, the Thrash and Splash in August.
which is going to showcase
And-
a ton of bands from the Richmond metal scene right now.
Brought to you by.
Brought to you by.
Yep.
There's going to be at least 94 confirmed riffs now, and 2 people are getting naked.
I asked Brian, I said, Brian, do you have anything to do with the Thrash and Splash? He was like, yeah, I have a little something to do with that.
Just a little bit.
Just the whole
Yeah,
fucking
we
thing.
got Thrash and Splash, and then
Coming through my door like the Kool-Aid, man.
and then a week before that,
There he
we're,
is, there.
I believe we're opening up for the Alcindor the CD release.
Alcindor.
Are you guys gonna do that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
awesome, awesome.
What is that? Only your flies
awesome.
will
Cool.
mourn you. That
Only
last
your fleas will more you.
on you, man. What a heavy track from Alcindor.
So awesome. So
shout
we're
out.
looking forward to that. Any other shows you need to plug in before?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But
So-
definitely check out the Richmond local metal scene and those venues that we mentioned earlier. There's always something going on.
Absolutely. We got it going on here in Richmond, Virginia. So come check out GRYM wherever they are. Cody, what do you got for me?
All right, guys, get your questions in. We're going to kick it over to Harbinger from GRYM.
I am free.
think so.
And we're back.
Back.
Hey.
After I almost threw half the shit off my desk trying to get back. But
we're
made
back.
It back.
Daddy
It's
only
alright.
threw a quarter
I
of
dropped
shit
my
off his
weed.
desk.
It made it to the floor.
Roscoe Jack.
What did Roscoe have to say?
Roscoe Jack,
Did
4
Roscoe
3,
survive our
4.
bartending skills from Saturday, Mr. Roscoe? Are you feeling okay?
All right, so Roscoe Jack, I see it here. He said, killer sound, man. Any chance of incorporating some spoken word?
Absolutely.
That's actually something that I've toyed around with a lot. That was something we kind of wanted to do with Coming Down, which was previously talked about. You know, just adding some spoken words, some like really low.
Yeah, like almost like some chanting.
Yeah. You know,
I
just
think
like
a lot about Pantera and how Phil Anselmo used to do his spoken word. It was really creepy and ominous, and it usually led to something pretty amazing musically.
As previously said, you know, we're always expanding, you know, like our influences and our sound, and like we want to incorporate some spoken word,
But not like you do it, bub.
or you know, see some cleans or some like
Not like you,
different
Marine.
screams or you know like whatever, and
Maybe a little trumpet? No? Yeah.
Why not, man?
personally,
I know a guy who was-
Mikey
yeah.
plays
yeah,
the saxophone.
Ooh,
saxophone,
don't tease
trumpet,
me.
clarinet.
Don't
We
tease me.
got a hell of a lot of instruments in our
If
home
you're in the
studio.
Richmond area and can get to my house in 4 minutes or less, bring a saxophone right now. I want proof.
Yeah, he'll serenade you with that saxophone.
I love it.
And personally, I want to incorporate some crazy stuff like that. Our Parker brothers, they're a little bit more traditional. Yeah. And we actually
Old
didn't.
souls.
Is there any new questions? No. Yeah. So we didn't talk about the
Not
Parker
Oprah.
brothers influences with our sound. They're a lot more like, you know, classic thrash. You know, like Slayer, Iron Maiden. They basically got that from their dad. You know, because their dad's a big metalhead.
Patrick.
He was actually the original drummer of Death back when they were a high school band, before they were even Death. But unfortunately,
Being a saxophone player, you should check out. I played a show up in Maryland with a band called Helgamite.
Helgamite. Okay.
Yeah, like stoner doom metal, but
Ooh.
with saxophone. Dude, it is. They blew me the fuck away.
Nice.
It's not all gloomy and dark. Listen to this.
I would love to do something like that.
Sets of that weekend, and that was Doomfest, and it was Jesus Christ, a whole lot of set, Jesus.
Maurice Torres
That was
loves the
memorable
trumpet
one.
idea.
More
Trumpet on fire.
Hey, I can't say that word.
Trumpet on fire.
Maurice.
Thank you, Roscoe. Thank you. Love you, bud.
I think we could say that word. Can we?
Fuck yeah.
Hey, motherfucker.
Hey, motherfucker.
Hey, motherfucker. Hey,
Just double
motherfucker.
Just
Everybody,
double
all at
check.
once. Say it.
1, 2, 3, fuck.
Fuck.
Fuck! I feel better now. I've been holding that in this whole time.
Yeah, we'll block it out on there.
We'll get censored. Oh,
Does
no.
it block it out with @ or like ampersands? Because we'll make that thing go crazy. Fuck it, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Who this?
And there goes my Facebook channel.
Sorry.
Wah,
Sorry.
wah.
Quick, June 4th.
Fun while it lasted. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it a night there.
All right.
Appreciate you guys coming in.
No,
Of
thank
course,
you.
yeah.
We
Thanks for having
appreciate
us.
it. Indoor Suns.
Always a pleasure. I've met you guys at the bar before, but I
Yep.
haven't had the pleasure of meeting you outside. So it's been nice. It's been fun.
You'll have the pleasure and the measure here very soon.
All of the Azures and the Urays, okay? They're all there. They're all
Absolutely.
accounted for. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to 15 Minutes of Fame, and we will see you
Peace.
next week.